Hi guys, this is Reshwant and you're watching Star Tutorial. Hope you guys are doing very well. And in this video, we are going to discuss about WAR file and EAR file. So what is basically WAR file? WAR stands for Web Application Archive, and it is just like in jar file with extra abilities. In the previous video, we already discussed about jar file. It is usually used to create any standalone application or desktop application. In case of desktop application or a standalone application, we have all the business logic and database inside the same system. But in case of web applications, if you consider we are the web server like the web logic everything will be present in some different location and the client is in a different location. Even though we are communicating to the web server and getting the response by using the web browser and communicate through network. So to communicate the web browser to web server via a network, we have some protocols. So we have a lot of protocols like REST API, SOAP API. We have a lot of things, and inside REST API we have HTTP. So in Java we have servlets which supports those HTTP. So that by using these servlets we can create any web application. And to run any web application we need some web server. So example Tomcat server. Okay. What we are doing here is we are creating some application by using this, servlets and HTML, CSS for JSP, JS for the interaction purpose of the UI UX, and Java is for business logic, and XML properties file, and these for the configuration of the application purpose. And we may have extra files also as well to which are related for the web context. So this is the hierarchy which we maintain the web var file. So inside var file we have jar files, and apart from jars we have servlets classes and web.xml. And this web.xml is used to deploy in the server. Okay, and the index.html is used to like it is kind of a main file which interact with the client. And to create any var file, we need to use the jar.exe. So this is common. Like to if you want to create any jar file or var file or EAR file, this dot.exe is common. Okay. So in jar.exe, you need to create a file. So we need to queue CVF like in verbose mode and the file name dot var. And also you need to mention all the files which you need to include inside the var file. You don't mention the var here, by default it will create jar file. So you need to, so it is mandatory to mention dot var. So what is EAR file? So EAR stands for Enterprise Archive. So it is just like in a web application, but with extra abilities. So if you consider any war application, with what will happen? There we are having only servlets, right? So through servlets we are handling the HTTP request and response. But if you want any extra abilities like it for transition or messages or mails, so those things we need to have some extra modules or some extra functionalities, right? For that we are using the enterprise applications. These files we use to deploy the any enterprise applications under which runs on the application server. For example, we have JBoss, Glassfield, and WebLogic and WebSphere. And what are the technologies we are using here? We are using all the web-related technologies like serverless, HTML, CSS, everything, as well as we have enterprise edition in Java. Like as I told you before, we have in Java we have three kind of editions. One is standard edition to develop standard applications, and enterprise edition to create enterprise applications, and micro edition to create any mobile application. So we are using this JUWE also. So these inside JUWE, we have some model libraries, packages, everything to support transitions, messaging, and emailing. And how to create a EAR file. To create a EAR file, we have to use jar. Okay, jar.exe. So jar CVF and the file name dot EAR. Okay, and we have to mention what are the files you need to include in the EAR file. And this is the hierarchy. Okay, so inside our entire like a main folder we have meta-inf, and inside meta-inf we have application.xml. So this application xml is the deployment file. Okay, and we have some kind of jar files and some var files. Okay, and inside library we have some jar files, I mean some packages which support the I mean support the transitions, messaging, and emailing, and those other and other functionalities. So it's so sometimes it will be very difficult because to create any application, we need a lot of modules, you need a lot of libraries, right? So for that, you need to install and managing a lot of libraries, a lot of files. So we, as a developer, and we can't waste the time because for the configuring part, we need to keep all the focus on the business logic. So to support that one, we have some tools which are nothing but than package managers. So we have Maven or on Gradle. You can use any one of the these to create any application. So what this will do? So inside Maven on Gradle, we have some files. So what inside that file we need to mention what are the packages you need. I mean, what are the jar files or war files, whatever the things. So you need to mention the file name as well as the version on which version you need. Okay. So after that, after writing the file, whenever you're running the project, that time the Java will go inside these files and it will read and it will download and managing everything without any user interaction. So it will be happening in automated. So we so as we discussed, we have application server to run the enterprise applications, and we have web server to run the web applications, right? So inside every application server, we have definitely we have some default web server as well. And if you don't want that web server, we can install external web server and you can use it. And why do we have the web server inside the application server? What's the purpose? So as you see, inside var file we have some jar files, right? Like same way, inside jar files we have some var file. So what's the purpose of var file? Is like nothing but some web application, like minimize web application, like minimum features. So this is the diagrammatic way. So inside EAR we have WAR, and inside WAR we have JAR, right? So to run the WAR file, we definitely need some web server. That's why in every web application server we have some default web server. Okay, and both the web server and web application server are different. And you may like you guys may get some doubts like uh, even though it's WAR or EAR, anyway we are creating the application by using Java only. Then why we need two different kinds of servers? So each server, like web server or enterprise server, have different purposes. Like it will suppose inside web server, it will also only suppose the request and response. So we can communicate the web server using this browser or something. But if you want any external features like transaction messaging, those things, we don't support. So to support those things, we definitely need application server. So hope you guys understand what is a jar file, what is WAR and what is EAR file, right? So like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.